어, 막 오다다다 오던데. 음흠. 하이. 방송 켰어. I'm writing an email real quick and then I'm gonna record an episode of my podcast and then probably gonna go to bed. Hmm, haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing? How was your day? A lot of people ask me how my day was, but I don't think I ask my viewers enough. How was your day? You're lost in your relationship, like a romantic relationship? I'm sorry to hear that. Um, if you want to talk about it, I'd be more than happy to give you a ear or eye, whatever you virtual eye ear. Yeah, relationships are hard because it tends to be difficult. If I recall correctly, you live in Malaysia, right? I think that's what I remember. Actually, there's a trust problem between me and my partner because I feel like she just having objections every time I speak. Yeah. You know, that that situation is so hard because we live in our head, right? And other people live in their head. So it's so easy to see how from your perspective you're right, and from her perspective it's so easy to see how she's right. But because we occupy different brains, it's so difficult to see things from their point of view. So, well, 2 p.m. in Malaysia. Yeah. So I mean, if ultimately if you want to feel better, I think other people listening to you and other people bending to your will feels good, right? But it depends on other people. But now, no matter what other people do, if you can have the perspective of, oh, you think that way, okay, that's cool. If you can come to like that state of, oh, okay, so you think that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. So for example, suppose I'm in Malaysia and we're eating together, and there's a bunch of different nashis, right? And then suppose instead of nasi bungkus, I go for nasi goreng. You know, like nashi is all like good, right? Food is all good. So you're like, oh, okay, I guess you want that. But you won't go like, well, you could, but you won't go like, what? How can you not have this? And you won't be like all angry at me, right? So just like that, if you can see how, even if the objection is about you, if you can kind of detach from your view and think, oh, so you think that way. Okay, now I understand. Now, this feels like losing, right? But this just makes you feel better, which is like the whole point, right? Like I want you to feel better. And if you can feel good and understanding regardless of what other people do, your life will be so much easier. But I'm not saying like your life is super difficult right now, but it just helps if you think that way. Hi, Kaylee. You can't stay. You're at a concert. I'll catch the next one. All right. Enjoy your show. I don't know what concert it is, but hope you have fun. Yeah, like losing all the way. Yeah, that feeling of losing sucks. But I don't know, like the feeling of losing generally sucks, right? But that I think largely depends on the karma too. So for example, I'm not really a competitive person, right? So I would play games and then I would lose because we can't all win, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fine. But then during college, I had roommates and friends who were like so competitive. They just couldn't like fathom the experience of losing, and they would just play until they won at like 3 a.m. and then they would go to bed then. But I never truly like understood those things. But yeah, so like losing sucks, but if losing is really impacting you in a big way, refer to my recent video about like being a sore loser. And yeah, because again, why am I saying this? Are you like bad? No, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I just want you to be happy. And when you can let go of things easily, it just makes you happy. And again, I want you to be happy. That's the whole point. So if losing makes you happy, then good, go for that. Like there's no right way to be happy, right? Uh, I'm saying there's no globally right way to be happy. Oh, she wasn't on camera, but yeah, my dog, uh, yeah, started throwing up a lot today. So I meant to come in earlier, but I couldn't. But it's all good. I was contemplating like, should I not turn on the stream? But then I'm like, you know what? I'm committed to streaming every day, so I came. Bless you. Actually, so that I just don't sit in silence, I'm gonna show you my what I'm writing. I'm writing my email to my email list. Which dog? My poodle, Pudding. She just started. Yeah, the brown one. Um, we think she ate something if in the front yard. She was puking like a lot of grass and things like that. Poor dog. But she's feeling better now. I'm writing about how to stop thinking, blocking thoughts. If you want to get this email, uh, you can sign up here. It's so good to have my YouTube channel where I can promote my stuff. Oh, it's literally mine. Yeah. Blocking thought is like, um, so I need to send this email, right? So I gotta write it, but I don't know. Should I write an email tonight? What if other people like think I'm emailing too frequently? And but I don't know. Maybe I should because like in order to market my things, I need to write an email. But now, like, what am I even gonna write about? So all of these thoughts are preventing me from writing and sending an email, right? So that's what I mean by blocking thoughts. It's blocking me. Like, hey, you can't write an email. I'm trying to help people understand like what blocking thoughts are. But all right. Or yeah, you join my email list with the link ck.julylifecoach.com/subscribe. It takes you to a form that has email address and first name, and if you do that, you get subscribed to my email list, and then you get emails from me. That's how you get access. Oh, 808 words. Okay, sent. Now let's record some podcast. Okay. I can read your chat, but I'm gonna record the podcast now, so I'm gonna briefly hide it from the screen. And then I will go to bed. Okay, so my podcast, this episode is going to be about my technology stack when it comes to having a coaching business. So it's mostly for my students, but if you are trying to start your own business in the digital world, then it's a good resource. Okay. For this episode, I want to talk to you about my all the things, all the products, all the services that I use in my business. So it is primarily for this episode is primarily for my students in my business coaching program. But even if you're not in the business coaching program, if you are a starting life coach or if you are in the digital entrepreneurship world and would like some explanations and choices made by me in running my business, uh, you're in the right episode. Okay, so I want to kind of structure this in terms of going to an end-to-end kind of a business flow, right? So you're a customer who wants life coaching, and then what happens each step of the way, and what platforms do I use in each step of the way. So let's start. First of all, if I am someone in need of a life coaching service, then I first need to be in a space where I talk about my problems, or I need to be in a space where I experience my problems. So, where do people who experience problem usually congregate to? Um, so for in the real world, if a lot of people are having school problems, they will be at school. In the real world, if a lot of people are having relationship problems, then it wouldn't be like a physical space, but they would have this like theme called a relationship, right? Now, in the online world, there are multiple ways of finding people who you can kind of get advice, commiserate with, and one of the options is like Facebook groups. Another option is Reddit. Another option is YouTube. So I have decided to primarily focus on number one, Reddit, and number two, YouTube. Now, there are other platforms and there are other like community services that feature this kind of online spaces for congregations. for specific topics. But Reddit I chose because number one, there was a very good kind of a role model to follow. If you've seen my Reddit account, you will probably know that it is heavily inspired by Dr. K and Healthy Gamer GG. So as a person who has spent the majority of the time in front of the computer and online, I was greatly inspired by Dr. K and what he does. And but Dr. K comes from the angle of psychiatry and therapy and meditation, and you come from the more of the life coaching angle. And Dr. K provides coaching services as well, but Dr. K has a company and a team. I am more kind of a smaller scale. I'm a life coach, and I want to focus on kind of like being this one individual with a bunch of opinions. And now, because Dr. K has a large presence on Reddit. I started on Reddit. I actually started posting a lot on, not posting, commenting a lot on Healthy Gamer GG, because I thought it was kind of like helpful for, to be in that community to kind of like foster the community's overall mental health. But then as my presence kind of grew, I found that it kind of would go with it would grow into a conflict of interest. So therefore, I stopped kind of interacting a lot with the Healthy Gamer GG community, and instead I branched out to other general mental health subreddits. Now, because I comment a lot with coaching intact, it just became a large body of work for me, and so it became a very good way to kind of build an audience who knows what I provide. Instead of having to tell them like, hey, I can help you with this, blah, 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 and then they have to sign up and then they get to experience me. Instead of that flow, on Reddit, if you write a comment about your life, I can give you coaching directly. So you already know what it's like to work with me before even working with me. So that's the experience that Reddit provides. And now, why did I choose YouTube? Um, Number one, YouTube is a free video platform that is massively popular. So that is basically all upsides with basically zero downside. Number two, YouTube is like the only platform that has a very long track record of directly monetizing through them. So if I get 500, I pass 500 subscribers. If I pass 1,000 subscribers and I pass the watch hours, then I can monetize my channel. And not a lot of social media platforms allow you to do that. So that's the kind of the big rationale for choosing YouTube. And now. YouTube actually happens to really go hand in hand with the Reddit, because now inside my Reddit account, I can embed YouTube videos that I create, right? So if I'm showing you a technique, or if I do a deep dive into a topic, then I can make a YouTube video about it and then reference it inside my Reddit posts and comments, which makes it easier for you to kind of really get a sense of what it's like to work with me without having to sign a contract with me. So uh, those are the two ways I make the initial contact with my buyers and clients and students and things like that. And now, specifically for Reddit, I organized my approach and how I take on the Reddit platform into a course. And now I'll talk a little bit more about course later on. So the number one type of people who can work with me are clients. So if you're a client, I meet you this way. Now, over time, I'm a general life coach, but then over time, I kind of picked up the business coaching hat as well. And overall, I want to give you this experience of like building your business, right? And I want to coach you in that way. So again, where do people who need to like grow scale their business live? For that, I found Facebook to be useful. So just like this, depending on your kind of area of business, you can pick a different platform, and you don't have to just stick to one. And for example, if you're really dealing a lot with the corporate world, then LinkedIn is another really great platform for you. I write a lot on Instagram as well, but Instagram for me is like hanging out with friends, simply because like a lot of my actual friends are on Instagram, and so it became a coaching kind of an account, but it's more like supplementary to me. Now, like primary kind of like platform for myself is Reddit and YouTube and Facebook when it's time to do business coaching. Good. Now, okay, so we have made initial contact. Now what do we do? You know what my things are like. You know what my coaching is like. So therefore, you want to talk to me, right? So which means I need an email. Good. Any Gmail will do, but some people will want to get more information about me, right? Which means a website would help. Is a website completely necessary? No. But if I host a lot of information and I have a lot of handy links that I like to keep, then a website is good for the sake of service, right? Like instead of you having to Google everything, if I can aggregate everything and put it into one place called my website, then it's just an act of service, right? I make your life easier. So that's the rationale behind me having a website. It's if you don't have like that, if you're not operating like that, you don't need a website. But in terms of website, there's lots of platform choices. The platform that I chose to go with is Google Workspace for because it handles both the email and domain and everything, the Google Apps, everything. And because simply because I've had a lot more experience with the Google Workspace, I chose that. But if you're a Microsoft person, does Apple provide something like that? If you're an Apple person, I guess you could do that as well. But Google is a popular choice. I My bill for my workspace is like $6 per month. It's very affordable. And now, um, for a website, I could use Squarespace, right? With Squarespace is like the most popular kind of website builder platform, and I could use Wix as well. Wix, I think, is free with monetization options. I chose to actually go with Google Sites because it's included in the Google Workspace. So why not use that? Um, Few downsides with the Google Sites is number one, you can't have like a blog. It's not supported. But with but with Squarespace, you can integrate WordPress into it. You can use WordPress plugins, or there's a lot of different ways to run it. But now, because of that, Squarespace comes with the higher price tag. And Squarespace has a lot of features that if you're just starting out, you're probably not going to use. So that's why I opted to use Google Sites because all I really wanted was to host some information there. And for my blogging purposes, I can do it with my Reddit account. So if you go to my Reddit account, I used to write a lot of like blog posts on my profile. So I have that need satisfied, so I'm good with that. And now, now that I have my website and my email, I now can start scheduling sessions with you. But now, over time, demand for my time grows simply because I introduce myself to the world more. It's not because I'm this like amazing, like the best coach in the world. It's just that many people in different points of their time will find my services useful. But if I don't talk about myself and if I don't put myself out there, if I don't expose myself, those people who would benefit from my services because of their situation and time in their life, they have no way of knowing about me simply because if I keep quiet, then how are you gonna know that I exist, right? So because I spend more time talking, because I spend more time marketing myself, demand grows. So there comes a point where I can't individually keep emailing people to schedule things simply because it becomes like a logistical nightmare. What if someone needs to reschedule and then it's like, oh, it's like your dentist appointment, right? It just becomes a big hassle. So you need a scheduling solution. So, in terms of scheduling solution, I chose to go with the platform called Calendly. My wife started blowing her hair. I chose Calendly because number one, it was simple, and number two, it was fairly affordable. What are your other options? Zoom offers scheduling now called Zoom scheduling. It wasn't available at the time. Another really popular one for coaches is called Acuity. I heard very good things about Acuity, especially about how it manages the sessions. So when a client signs with you, you can set the number of sessions and then it'll keep track of that so that you don't have to do it. But personally, keeping number of sessions isn't too much of a problem for me, so I have no problem using Calendly. If I'm not mistaken, um, Calendly should be, I think, one of the more affordable options, and I think Acuity is in the higher end of the pricing. And I also think Acuity is integrated with Squarespace. So if you're kind of like a cheap person like me, don't want to make a ton of investments, then I recommend my way. But if you're gonna go all in and be very like a professional corporate instead of like individual like me, then going for the Squarespace and then Acuity combination is a good choice for you. It's just not for me. I'm a humble dude doing one thing. So that takes care of scheduling. And now, you as a coach, I can work with you for one session, I can work with you for multiple sessions, and I can take care of that. Good. Which means now I need a way for you to pay me, right? So it doesn't have to be too difficult. Like you could mail me a check or whatever, but over time, over demand, it becomes hard to track, right? So I used, I started with PayPal simply because eBay experience, right? Like it's just how I used to send, how I used to receive money. So that's why I used PayPal. But then um, there's another platform called Stripe. A lot of people use Stripe. Uh, for me, the only reason why I use Stripe is because I'm a software engineer, right? And a lot of the software engineers that I respect, they work at Stripe. So that's how I actually got to know the company. And I looked at their website and it's like, oh, it's a very developer friendly kind of a payment solution. Okay, so I decided to use Stripe. And turns out Stripe is really good because it integrates with literally everything. I don't have people pay me to book time with me, but if you want that, you can do that with the Stripe integration. And a lot of other platforms integrate with Stripe directly, so Stripe is just the all-time kind of a really compatible solution, especially with regards to payment related things. You can receive tips from it. You can make products that sell things like that. So Stripe is, I think, the number one kind of recommendation. PayPal is a close second though. Yeah, and now after you paid me, we need to meet actually. So what are we gonna use? Zoom. Why? Why not, right? Everybody already knows Zoom, and this is something I learned over time. But when it comes to technology, people being familiar with it is really important. Having people onboard a platform that they're used to is so much easier than having people onboard something that they're not used to. So, for example, in December, my coaching program ran on Zoom, and my February rendition of it is now running on Discord, and now there's a lot of like tutorial for Discord that I need to use. So if you're looking into, like technical, comparisons, find it would really help if you find solutions that are popular in the market so that people don't have to have that learning curve. But in terms of meeting, Google Meet I know is there, and other options are available. But then again, like when it comes to meetings, I think Zoom is just kind of really nothing to complain, especially if you're looking to scale into classes. And group experiences, Zoom has a lot of good features related to that outside of the one-on-one context. So I recommend Zoom for that. The one major caveat is until you go to the high-end paid plan, you can only host one meeting at a time. So if you're thinking of doing ongoing Zoom rooms along with the one-on-one room, then you may want to go for the higher paid plan for Zoom. And now, in terms of community, now I got a bunch of people, and they're all working one on one with me, but it feels like, I feel like client group A and client group B would really mingle well with each other. Or within the same client group, there's people at different levels of their life. I mean, not in terms of hierarchy, but like different stages in life. So I feel like the kind of older, wiser kind of client could give advice to the younger ones in a way that I can't really replicate because they're more in their shoes together, right? And so, yeah, what would be a good way for a community? So that's why the need for a community rises. And community option number one is, of course, for me, Reddit. But now, for me, it felt a little difficult to find um it felt a little difficult to manage and invite people into my community because there's a lot of moving parts, like mod mail, and like you have to set up like different like approval and like flares. And in terms of moderating a large like quality subreddit, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And now, what's my job? My job is to be a coach. My job is to coach people rather than look at Reddit like trying to figure out CSS and things like that, right? So if in the future, if I can get resources, then I think I would go for a subreddit again. But at this time, um, my community is largely like where they are right now, YouTube and Reddit, like in terms of my followers. And the another thing that I'm kind of experimenting with these days is again Discord, simply because number one, it's free, really nice, right? I have another platform called Thinkific, which we'll get to in a bit, but it's really difficult to again onboard people to a new platform just for the sake of talking with me. So that and I could use Facebook, but not a big fan of the platform itself. So I don't use Facebook groups. I'm a member of certain Facebook groups, but I don't want to run a Facebook group. Discord, running a Discord, fairly simple, fairly easy. I like it. Okay, so now that we covered the one-on-one client plan, now I started wanting to teach people. So that means classes. So in order to teach people, I need to kind of like have a learning platform, right? And the learning platform is you have many choices. The most popular one I think is Kajabi, and I happen to use Thinkific. Wow, Kajabi is like a really high-end, expensive one with the all the bells and whistles. So if you're gonna go all in on learning and community with everything, Kajabi is a really great option for you. Thinkific gives you a lot of tiers you can select from. And of course, being a humble, cheap man, I chose a more affordable option that just does the things that I need, and I like that. Hi, I'm Meku, Fire Platform. Oh yeah, but I mean, I don't know. If I'm not even paying for it, I'm like, thanks. You can do whatever the hell you want. And to be honest, I'm so like happy with Discord. I'm really considering paying for it if it means the company won't like go bankrupt. I'm doing much better tonight. Thank you so much. I'm recording a podcast. Just to briefly put it on pause. And okay, so now I talked about learning platform. Oh yeah, a few learning platforms actually take care of the community with the product as well. So Thinkific is one of those platforms as well, where you can view my classes and everything, but you can also like join the forum inside Thinkific. But again, like, are people really going to log into my Thinkific just to join the community. If it's already there, then it's a different story, but building that is kind of very time consuming. And so I didn't want to spend time on that. I would much rather like focus on making YouTube videos like this. I would much focus on like actually educating people. So that's why I chose to not worry about the community features of these. But another cool platform that I saw was called School. But again, School is kind of on the pricier side. So if you're looking for a really like all-in-one solution and just spending money in one place, then I think I would recommend School. And a lot of these platforms are also monthly fees, right? So if you're looking to just spend money once and then be done with it, then there's a platform called Thrivecart, which I just learned about today, thanks to one of my students. And I believe that's a one-time payment instead of a monthly payment kind of a thing. Okay. Oh, you can keep chatting. I can press the I can pause the recording, so I can go in and out of recording, so no need to worry about that. Uh, okay, so I covered the thinking the course platform. What else? I covered. Oh yeah, email. A big part of the July Life Coach experience that I haven't discussed yet is emails. And so, emails. Why? Why do you need an email list? Well, suppose I talk to a bunch of people on Reddit and I offer them my coaching services simply because I think it'll be beneficial for them. But now, number one, people might not have the time. Number two, they might not be that serious about their self development at this time. Number three, cost might be out of their budget because they're students or whatever, right? So I talk to you, and then you say no for now, and then that's it for us. And there's no way for us to kind of like keep in touch. So emails. If I had your email and if I could keep in touch with you one sided, and if you wanted to stop listening to me, you could unsubscribe. If you want to continue listening to me, and then when I invite you to the next thing and you happen to be interested, then we can meet, right? So, emails is what keeps relationships going instead of making the relationship, oh, it didn't work, and then boom, goodbye, right? So it's like very difficult to kind of, without an email list, it feels like you're making a sandcastle, but the waves keep washing you. So like you make monumental progress in some moments, but then it just keep washes away. So with an email list, you finally get the sense of something actually accruing, something actually amounting. And this is different from well, so how is it different from a Reddit follower? How is it different from an Instagram friend, right? What's different about it is emails are not algorithm driven, right? When I send you an email, you're gonna get it, regardless of like what the trending thing is, regardless of what other emails I'm competing with, right? So as long as it's not in the spam folder, I always have a way to get in touch with you. And so that like being in control of your message and email services is a service, right? But like even if the email service goes bankrupt, all the email addresses that you collected can be exported and then it can go to another platform. So it's just a really good way to be in ownership of your content. What if all the Instagram servers blow up tomorrow and all my content is there? What if all my Reddit content is gone tomorrow, right? Email, there's a like there's no way the system of email just goes away, right? So that's what makes email such an attractive choice. But now, is it the only way to get things done? No, not at all. But email certainly helps. Yeah, yeah. So that I don't know what other audio only podcasters use. I think they just I think they record everything one take and then they chop them out. I used to do that, but I gotta talk about this too. But I'm a very lazy guy, so I hate doing something multiple runs. I hate recording something, turning on a program, listening to it over again, chopping it up, and like I hate that, right? So I was like, okay, how the hell do I make this easy for me? And I was like, oh, okay, as I'm talking, when I feel myself getting stuck, I'm gonna press the pause button, and then I just do it in one run. So, like, yeah, I always try to do my best in submitting first drafts. Like, that's my only goal in so many different things. I'm a big believer in first drafts. Okay, where was I? I was talking about emails and okay, good, 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 good. And speaking of emails, wouldn't it be nice if I talked about blogs before, right? Wouldn't it be nice if there was a blogging platform that also served as an email list? Well, you're in luck because there's a platform called Substack. And Substack is actually where I host my podcast along with YouTube. So my podcast is hosted on YouTube as a video and then on as a transcripted kind of an episode on Substack. And Substack doesn't work for me, I think, and then it publishes to the Apple podcast or whatever. I'm not a podcast guy. Like, I'm simply recording these podcasts because people ask me to do podcasts. I never listen to any podcasts, so I don't really know a lot about the world. But Substack is an online platform with a community in it. It's a writing focused platform, so it's a blog but it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's very well designed for the pretty looking liking people, and it doubles as a email list, and it emails your posts to your subscribers, along with like a analytics dashboard that you can do. Moreover, you can monetize on Substack. So if you write a lot like me and you're interested in kind of running this like kind of a Patreon thing where hey like if you enjoy my writing you want to support my work join my Patreon for like behind the scenes things like that. So the Substack allows you to write a post and then leave some parts of it behind the paywall so that you can support your writing work. And so if you're into that kind of stuff, Substack is a very, very attractive choice for you. Okay, so we covered everything from how clients get in touch with me and then how I foster relationships at long after the fact. And one very niche specific kind of a recommendation I want to make is a platform called Volley. So why do I talk about Volley? Um, I joined Volley, I think early last year. No, early last year. No, that's not right. Early last year. Anyway, Volley is an asynchronous video platform. So it kind of gives you the benefit of a face-to-face kind of a conversation without the pressure of a synchronous communication. So it's not only like a one-on-one kind of a thing, one-on-one kind of a chat room with asynchronous video. It's also kind of like a video, like a course hosting platform as well. And so you can send like messages and videos in the form of like your content can be in a form of message bubbles and nice thing about it is they all have auto transcribe and moreover all the videos are defaulted to 1.5 speed. So like everybody in the digital age is kind of like living that speed, right? So it had a lot of nifty features that I liked, but the company went under last year. And then I kept on thinking, Volley was a really neat platform, and I think I have the suave to kind of make it something work, make something in Volley work for me now. And I really wish there was something like it, but for some reason I can't find anything like Volley. And then guess what? I got an email completely out of the blue that that a big company actually acquired Volley and they're gonna revive it. What are the chances of that? Um, that's so crazy to me. But anyway, Volley will come back. If you're interested in an asynchronous video platform, check out Volley in the later February of 2024. Okay, in terms of, I think the only last piece of things that I'm missing is what do I use for like this? What do I use for my YouTube? What do I use for my like promoting my things, my graphics? Now, a lot of people like to use Canva, and I don't know what other people use for their videos, but I'm a very old-fashioned Adobe guy. I made my first website with Adobe Dreamweaver. That's how old, like OG Adobe I am. Um, I used Photoshop before it was like CS. I used Photoshop when it was a numbered version, and it was like $600 in like past money. So being a super old like Adobe guy, I always used Adobe like in one way or another. I used the Adobe Creative Suite. Is it expensive? Yeah, but it comes with like literally everything. It comes with Premiere, which is what I use to, when I actually want to do some video editing. I don't because I really don't like I want to get things to you as fast as possible. That's sort of my goal because my job isn't to make things look pretty. My job is to give you the information. So when I want to do video editing, I use like Adobe Premiere. When I want to do image editing, I go Photoshop. When I want to do like logo design, I go to Illustrator. When I want to do like book design, I go to InDesign and things like that. So Adobe has everything for me, which is really neat. On top of that, when you get an Adobe subscription, now there's a thing called Adobe. What's the name? There's a Canva like thing on Adobe now, and it's actually like just amazingly great. It gives you all these yeah, Adobe Express. It gives you all these templates that you can copy and paste directly so that you don't have to do the design yourself. I am not a designer. I just like I can use the tool, but I have no like visual creative bone in my body. So being able to look at all the templates that and then being able to just kind of pick one from there is just a lifesaver. And if you are watching this on a YouTube, then I'm gonna give a quick demonstration. Like I go home, right? And then if I want to make an Instagram square post, I can browse the templates, and then I can just go here, and on this side, you can see that I have all these templates I can choose from instead of me trying to design something super crappy that my wife is going to be very angry at me for. So, uh, if you are in the, if you want to do some of your own designs, I would highly recommend Adobe. But again, if you want to use Canva, it's fine. But I personally wasn't a big fan of Canva. It was a little like unintuitive for me. Maybe I don't know. It's because I'm just simply used to um, Adobe. And lastly, to record my screen, I use a program called OBS. For the streaming world, I stream so that I can get a deeper touch with my YouTube audience. If you want to get into streaming is not easy. Because it's very awkward for you to talk to yourself in front of a camera, and the idea that you're live to the whole world and everybody can see you, that's a little bit kind of intimidating. But and moreover, when you're new to streaming, you're not really gonna have a lot of things to talk about while you're live. So it'll be a lot of like just like staring at yourself in the screen. Um, but the way out of it is to make your goal to stream as often and as consistently as possible. And then the more you get used to the feeling of it being in front of a camera, if you do YouTube, you kind of get a practice, but like I think streaming is a different kind of a beast. So with that disclaimer on streaming, if you want to get streaming, there's two big choices. Number one is OBS, and the second is called XSplit. XSplit is paid, and it gives you more bells and whistles, but it only works on Windows. OBS is an open source kind of a program that you can use to stream, and it's very adaptable to everything. So I use OBS because, again, very humble, cheap coach. As a one person company, I use OBS. So far, it's been very good for me. I can record as I'm streaming. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Kaylee. Hi. These are all my YouTube viewers. I'm on as I'm recording this. So and it gives me all these like new, like I can switch between things, and I have like plugins. I can apply filters to my voice. I can apply filters to my camera if I want to. I don't know. Should I? I'm not going to. But anyway, OBS, good platform. If you want to record your screen, there's like other options like Loom and things like that, right? But why spend money if you can do it for free? There's the Asian in me, right? Okay, I think that more or less covers all of my technology choices. And if I miss any, I will write more about them in the comments and let you know. Okay. I hope this was informative to you. And if you are starting your business, I think this is a solid starting point in terms of your technology choices. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at billy@julylifecoach.com. And if nothing else, I will see you in the next episode. Yay! Recording is done. Yeah. But now I'm done. All right. Well, how was the concert? I don't know what concert you went, but uh, we talked a lot about music yesterday, so that was a good conversation we had. And we had a long conversation about like movies and the TV shows and music. That was good. Easy peasy, right? Lemon squeezy. Okay. All right. Oh, I really want to stay and chat a little bit more, but tomorrow I have I have like I have a business program that I'm starting tomorrow with my classes. So I'm teaching like three classes tomorrow. So I need to get to bed. Oh, Taber? I obviously don't know. So oh, it's a Korean guy? Huh, that's cool. All right. Well, glad you enjoyed it. This Wolverine thing? Okay, so it's it's not an interesting story. Um, I work at Disney, right? And during so like over the years when I used to work at the cubicle, I used to have a lot of like knickknacks on my desk, and I collected a bunch of those, right? So I would go to the parks and I'd buy little mini figurines and I'd put them on my desk, and then now like my coworkers would come by and then they would notice my desk and then they would start like giving me little things to like add to the collection, right? And then so like one day out of the and then like when you work at Disney, there you get an opportunity to like get a lot of posters. I don't We don't do that anymore, but like the studio like like units, they would have a lot of posters for distribution, so we would always like grab them. And then so the like knickknack collecting and the poster collecting is kind of the culture at Disney if you work in the physical locations. And then out of the blue, we were having this like office cleanup for a bunch of stuff that we had, but then like it wasn't really claimed to anybody. And then so I was like, oh, I wasn't even there, I think, because I think I was like out of office that day or something. But then a bunch of like my coworkers were like, "Oh, Billy will like this," and then they just like put a bunch of the stuff on my desk, and then that Wolverine poster happens to be one of those like things that was just laying around at work, and then my coworkers thought it would be fun if it was on my desk. So that's like the only story behind it. Uh, yeah. Yeah, everything else is kind of boring. Uh, yeah, my room's my room's very messy. Oh, you got a signature. That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, I think um unfortunately it's becoming rarer and rarer for K-pop artists to be like really respectful to their fans. Um, but I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you got the signature. Uh, life is good. Yeah, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it is a fun, interesting story. So yes, the Wolverine is making me one of the most interesting people in my life. In your world. Yay. Okay. I'm gonna hit the sack because I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. Um, thanks for hanging out with me again, and I'm hoping to see you tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? Instead of always like letting it be like I might, let's just commit to it. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Okay? All right. See ya.